Hey guys, Big Weir, roadtoroot.com with your morning horn of Z's, your sip of coffee. Uh, Great feedback from 99% of the people about the discussion about gold versus cryptos that Cliff and I had with Bill, Jim, and Dave, and bravo to them, to keeping an open mind. I think they pretty much got it. I'm in disagreement with Jim about how free markets really work. His take is more Bitcoin will be legitimized when there's the ability to go long and short in the derivatives market, the futures and options market. I disagree totally that futures and options markets are legitimate. And unfortunately, they're around. They'll be here forever. Bitcoin is going to get into that market. Bitcoin BTC, as far as I know. I'm not a holder of BTC. I have a little bit, but not much. I have more Bitcoin Cash, but not much. I have more Litecoin than both of those. And the reason is nobody knows which BTC, which will be the real Bitcoin. And yes, it's a problem, and we've been dealing with it for a long time. Interesting that never came up in the discussion. But please listen to the discussion. Go to Jim's website, JS Mindset. Scroll down a little bit. It was posted on November 25th. 2 hours of really interesting talk. And I want to thank Jim and Bill and Dave for indulging Cliff and myself to come into their forum and speak our minds about the cryptos. So check it out. And then I had thought originally it was Dave Kranzler because those guys interview him on occasion. Dave Kranzler's been around a while. He's really into GATA, was in the GATA days back in my early days at GATA, early 2000s. He was there. He was known as Dave from Denver. And I always had clashes and issues with his writings and his understanding of what was happening. And I'm not a big fan, truthfully. But GATA still is, and Dave is posted an article a couple days after the discussion about Bitcoin, calling it Inconvenient Truths. The silence is deafening. Apparently, he did not listen to the discussion with Jim Sinclair, Bill, and myself, and Cliff, and Dave, a different Dave. But not everybody's going to listen to what we have. But Dave won't get it. Dave Kranzler won't get it anyway, truthfully. I've been going round and round with this dude for 15 years. He just doesn't get it. That's his problem. He just doesn't get it. His take on Bitcoin was the least of his issues. He didn't understand how markets work in the gold markets either back in the day, and he didn't understand that computers and derivatives control the whole deal. Always clashed with that guy. Anyway, he came out with an article that was posted on GATA called Bitcoin's Inconvenient Truths, The Silence is Deafening. This is from Chris Powell. Dave Kranzler of Investment Research Dynamics in Denver yesterday detailed what he sees as Bitcoin's vulnerabilities. It is susceptibility to hacking, infrastructure risk, and government regulation. But of course, the skyrocketing of Bitcoin's price during the last year has made advocates of the monetary metals look foolish, even as it has provided more evidence of suppression of monetary metal prices by governments and central banks. Absolutely, Chris. That is absolutely what happened. No, you don't look foolish. You just aren't fully aware of where the system's going, in my mind. But you will be, and everybody will be very soon, within the next 2 or 3 years. And gold and silver have their vulnerabilities too, like the futures market, primary mechanism of price suppression for anything governments don't like, though futures markets seem about to target Bitcoin as well. Bitcoin BTC, not cryptocurrencies. Yeah, I'm not excited about Bitcoin coming out on the comics. Will it affect my investments? No. Again, I don't have very much BTC. This could be the killer for BTC also, and let BCH, Bitcoin Cash, which I believe would to be the true Bitcoin anyway, be a monumental winner in this. Just because the negative price action is possible, but I'm in the Cliff boat that it's going to backfire. And the COMEX will be shown for the fraud that it is, simply because there's no delivery mechanism for Bitcoin in the futures and options contract that is being put forward. And how easy would it be for a bank to short the COMEX and then go long on real Bitcoin and take it off exchange and all that? Pretty easy. So I don't think the COMEX Bitcoin game is going to last very long, and it might literally implode the entire COMEX. And there are people behind the scenes that could do that. Those people I call the good guys, who are protecting and helping Bitcoin and the cryptocurrencies gain traction. That's why there's no regulations. The good guys are behind it. And absolutely. But let's take a look at what Dave Kranzler has to say just for yucks and giggles. Let's see, where is it? Right here. Okay. This is, I guess, his website. I haven't read anything of his in 10 years. But let's see what he says to say about Bitcoin. And if he is right that the silence is deafening. Although I don't know anybody in Bitcoin who's being silent right now, truthfully. Let's see here. Can I scroll down? Hold on. Let's do a refresh on this. There we go. All right. Gold is instantly and optically recognized as money. That is wrong. Gold is not instantly and optically recognized as money. I mean, every time I talk about this guy, Dave Kranzler, it's just, it astounds me how little he understands about gold, especially back in the day, and silver, and obviously Bitcoin. He has no idea. But gold is not instantly and optically recognized as money. Just look at the Dice YouTube videos where he, Mark Dice, I think it is, he goes out with a gold coin and a candy bar to the everyday man on the street, and everybody chooses the candy bar over a gold coin. Gold is not money. Gold has been demonetized. It has been taken off a form of money in 1971. And the vast majority of the population on planet Earth does not recognize gold as money. Since we went off the gold standard, 5 billion people were added to the population. So now there's 7.5 billion people. And most of the people alive in 1971, when we were on a pseudo-gold standard, were young. And most are dead now. That's just the reality. And anybody over 50, you had to be 20 years old. How many people understand monetary policy in 1971 who were 20 years old? And so they'd be 70 now. And most of those people are gone. So no, people don't recognize gold as instantly as money or optically as money. You don't have to explain it. Yes, you do. Bitcoin and special drawing rights, two completely separate things, like a bad joke, have to be explained. Many cryptologists from the start gave up trying to explain Bitcoin and just sell it as virtual gold, which is de facto fake gold. So says Dan Papuska, investment consultant. Numerous inconvenient truths are conveniently ignored by Bitcoin cryptocurrency promoters, not the least of which is the fact that the original concept for cryptocurrencies was envisioned by the NSA. I guess it's convenient to assume the NSA developed this concept and then put it out there for the private sector to develop. Sure makes sense. Now here's the... Yes, absolutely the NSA was in the early makings of all cryptocurrencies. That's their job. Same with the Federal Reserve. That's their job. Their job is to be involved with any monetary scheme. They're involved with gold as well, as everybody knows. Was the NSA the secret Satoshi Nakamoto? Don't know and don't care, truthfully. And no, there's not a boogeyman, Dave, out there trying to get you. There's a battle between the good guys and bad guys, absolutely. Did the bad guys invent Bitcoin to ensnare the public? No, they already have all our assets. We're already on their system. This is completely different, completely separate from a centralized control system. So if they did invent Bitcoin, which they were involved absolutely since the 1980s, electronic money has been around since about 1970. About 1970 to 1980, it was developed. It was invented by Alan Greenspan, the world's best computer programmer, and the guy who was in charge of the monetary system for most of that time. I've proven that 1,000 times, although Dave inconveniently can't figure that one out. Anyway, Moving on. So yes, it might have been, it was definitely worked on by the NSA. Who knows if Satoshi, when Bitcoin was invented, the only real change that happened, well, there's a few big changes, but the big one was fixing the double spending problem. Other than that, most of that stuff had been invented in the 80s and 90s. And yes, the CIA was absolutely involved, in the NSA, and mainly the Federal Reserve Bank of Boston, who is in charge of the cryptocurrencies now, and is who was in charge and published the Road to Ruta stuff. Anyway, moving on. A rapid rise in price does not validate an investment concept. That's true. Undervalued assets have a tendency to rise rapidly in price when people start discovering the use value of that asset. And the cryptocurrencies and the blockchain technology is changing the world. Absolutely. It's going to be bigger than the World Wide Web when that was introduced in 1990, because this takes out money. And that's the big things that the bad guys, as I call them, are in charge of, is our money. So yes, it is. It will continue to blow sky high, and no, it's not a bubble. And I can give you 1,000 reasons why it's not a bubble. It goes up in price and falls in price, absolutely. But the technology that is supplanting what the Federal Reserve has been giving us, it is a way out. And that's what these guys, the old gold bugs, can't figure out. You know, they've been trying to figure out for years how gold can get us out of this corrupt monetary system, and they haven't been able to do it because the bad guys own all the gold and the bad guys control the markets. But they don't with the cryptos. So that's why it's rising fast, not because it's in a bubble, and it will continue to rise fast until people understand that, well, we don't even need the gold bugs to understand. They can stay in their world and stay in the concept of gold can save the world. They never give an explanation of how the gold will be allocated to humanity. All the bad guys own all the gold right now. The governments and the central banks of the world and Rothschilds own all the gold. Why would we want to go back onto a standard where they own all the assets? That's the monster problem that nobody can ever explain in the gold side. Anyway, a rapid rise in price does not validate an investment concept. Dozens of .com stocks went from simple websites to multi-billion-dollar market caps and back to zero in the late 90s. Absolutely. But not all of them. The crappy ones died. Yes, absolutely. And the crappy cryptos will die and are dying. The good ones are your Amazons, your Facebooks, your Googles. I don't know why he doesn't understand that. Until proven otherwise by the long test of time. Bitcoin could be another product of a fiat money printing bubble that is 100 times the size of the money bubble that fueled the .com bubble. Gold and silver have withstood the test of 5,000 years. Bitcoin has less than 3,000 days of time testing. Gold and silver have been chucked away, thrown away, have failed as currency more than any other asset type in the history of the world. It's like Babe Ruth, who hit the most home runs, but he also struck out more than anybody else in the league. Gold has failed and failed and failed and failed, and it failed again in 1971. Was it gold's fault? No. It's people abusing a true gold standard. But we are not on a gold and silver monetary system. We are off that. And the people who say gold and silver have been money for 5,000 years are lying. Gold and silver are not money right now. They might be a good store of value. And for silver, it's a great technological tool and necessary for our future. But they're not money now. And you can tell they're not money. Go look at Mark Dice's video. Walk around your town with a gold coin and a candy bar, and you're going to find people taking the candy bar 99.9% of the time. That is not what money is. That is not recognized as money. So, yeah. And Bitcoin, yeah, it has been time-tested. It was May, I think, of 2010 that the first Bitcoin transaction happened. Bitcoin was used as money, bought 2 pizzas for 10,000 Bitcoin. So it's 7 years nonstop. Bitcoin has been used as money, and gold has failed as money over the 5,000 years, on and off and on and off and on and off. The only reason people went back to a gold standard and a silver standard is the majority of the population had gold and silver in their possession already. So they didn't have to rely on a government allocating gold and silver. Today, very, very, very tiny few people hold gold and silver in their pockets or in their home safe or anything like that. It's the governments have some, but most of the silver is already gone, used up in the electronics, and the gold is buried in the bad guys' vaults. So No, gold and silver, the system crashes, they're not going to go back to a gold and silver standard because nobody has any. All right, be leery of the serial promoters, I guess that's me, I guess I'm a serial promoter, who have dropped their previous advocacy for gold and silver like a hot potato to become religiously zealous salesmen of Bitcoin. I would not say that I'm a religiously zealous salesman of Bitcoin. Actually, I don't even promote holding Bitcoin, BTC. Other cryptocurrencies, absolutely. But the reason we dropped our promotion of gold and silver to move on to the cryptos is because we understood that we have another choice. There's now another choice. It used to be just gold and silver could save humanity, although no one actually said how it would be implemented. They just said, oh, gold and silver are the anti-fiat. Well, we have another anti-fiat, and that is the cryptocurrencies, all of them. Some will crash, some will go away, absolutely. Most of them should go away. There's probably 50 or 60 of them that will be strong and long. I pointed out 15 of them at my Road to Ruta site that I think will be the Facebooks and the Googles and the Amazon.coms. Anyway, let's just fly through and see what his other arguments are, because I kind of laughing at the ones so far. These were often among the most raucously vocal of their protest the use of COMEX and silver futures to manipulate the market price, yet their silence on the introduction of Bitcoin futures hurts my eyes. I haven't been silent. I've been talking about it all along. The problem is he closes his ears. Anything he hears Bitcoin, he says, no, I can't handle that. Yeah, it's not a good thing that Bitcoin, BTC, is going to be traded on the COMEX. I don't think it will last very long. I think if Bitcoin is going to be the one that survives as being called BTC, then I think the powers that control behind the scenes, yes, we are being assisted by that invisible hand of the good guys. I think they'll destroy the COMEX first before they let the COMEX destroy Bitcoin. But if it's not, if BTC is the one they want to get rid of and they want to keep BCH, the Bitcoin Cash, which is a possibility for the good guys, they will allow the COMEX to destroy Bitcoin. But what will that really do? It will shine a light on the criminality of the COMEX. It'd probably be good for gold and silver that crypto comes in and saves the day by throwing itself on the sword. But why even get involved? I stay far away. I got Litecoin and some great tokenized companies. Ethereum is a platform. Salt Lending, OMG, Pillar. There's a lot of great companies doing a lot of great things. Anyway, the bulwark promotion of Bitcoin is that it is a decentralized form of money that exists outside government control. But is it really? Oh my God, Dave Kranzler's figured out that it's not decentralized? Let's check. I dare say the rollout of CME Bitcoin futures as regulated by the CFTC certainly smells like the implementation of official intervention. Maybe if it is, then I'd get out of Bitcoin and get into Bitcoin Cash or Litecoin, even better. Those who previously protested gold and silver futures must not deny this fact. I don't deny the fact. I'm not happy about it, and if I owned a significant amount of Bitcoin, BTC, I'd be jumping up and down. But hey, jumping up and down doesn't do any good. We all know that. All the gold and silver bugs who have jumped up and down and written letters to the CFTC and put Bart Chilton in there to save the day, and he couldn't do it. He came out and said, silver is rigged. So what? So what is their answer? We are going to keep this system going for as long as we can to allow the transition over to the crypto world. And that's what's happening right now. Those who previously protested gold silver futures must not deny this fact. Perhaps more troublesome is the embedded forms of counterparty risk endemic to the system which creates Bitcoin. What are you talking about? What counterparty risk? Anything that exists in cyberspace is vulnerable to hacking. That is not true. Open source software, you can't hack it. You don't need to hack it. It's open source. You can see the code. If there's anything hidden bug in there or hidden backdoor, it would be in the code, or it's not part of the code. That's what open source software is, and that's what is run on everybody's computer who runs a node or a half node or is a miner. That's the stuff that guys like Dave Kranzler don't understand. You can't hack Bitcoin. You can't hack an open source program. Now you can hack wallets, you can hack exchanges, things like that. That's different. But Bitcoin, the protocol, and the software you can't hack because it's already hacked. It's wide open for everybody to see. All right, circling back to the NSA white paper referenced above, can anyone out there truly claim the expertise required to deny that the NSA or any other major sovereign intelligence agency does not have the ability to corrupt the blockchain? To corrupt the blockchain is different than to hack the blockchain. The problem with corrupting the blockchain is anybody that tries, any single entity or a large entity, you have to have 51% to even try to do it. And then when you lose consensus of the majority of the people using it, they'll just go somewhere else. That's the beauty of all the other cryptocurrencies. So if the miners take 51% and try to change the rules and protocol of Bitcoin, all of humanity will go over here and Bitcoin will be useless and worthless. So they wouldn't do it. Why would they want to? And it's easy to, I can swap my Bitcoin for Litecoin today, or Ethereum, or Salt, or OMG, or PPT. Anyway, let's see. To be sure, cryptocurrencies are subject to network or infrastructure risk during a crisis. Unequivocally, cryptos are subject to government regulation. Everything's subject to government regulation. I am welcoming any government regulation that takes any of the criminality out of Bitcoin, out of the cryptocurrencies. To say that the government or the NSA is the boogeyman and all bad and blah, 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 then you should be really embracing the cryptocurrencies, truthfully. Because if the government of the United States puts regulations that destroy Bitcoin, Bitcoin will just go somewhere else. There are many countries in the world who are embracing Bitcoin. It is the way of the future. The blockchain technologies are absolutely the way of the future. And countries that understand that are embracing it and cleaning up their markets, like China, like Russia, like everywhere in the world, especially in the United States. There has been no real serious laws put down to block Bitcoin in the United States. That's because we are the freest country in the world. We will continue to be the freest country in the world because we're going to take out the criminal banking, centralized banking system with something even more free and more transparent, which is the blockchain technology. The cryptocurrencies might be Bitcoin Cash, might be Litecoin, might be the USA coin, a sovereign token, which would be fine. I welcome them all as long as they are open and truthful and honest. The minute they are closed, why would you even deal with it? If you don't see what's happening, then you're just back in the old system. And yeah, I welcome a USA dollar crypto with open arms as long as it is honest about what it's doing. And if it has a fixed supply, which I don't think the U.S. government would do, if it has a fixed supply, it'll be more supportable by other people around the world. And you want to strengthen the U.S. dollar, you turn it into a crypto U.S. dollar. And I got no problem with that. The only problem is there's so many U.S. dollars out there. There's so many forms of the U.S. dollar in the derivative market. I mean, people talk about, oh my God, we're $20 trillion in debt. Who cares if we're $20 trillion in debt? We have quadrillions in derivatives. JP Morgan sends out $5 trillion every day out of their Florida money office. I mean, that's the ridiculous part. So yeah, it would be hard to make a crypto U.S. dollar, U.S. Federal Reserve note. It wouldn't be that hard to make a U.S. dollar that is not connected to the old system of Federal Reserve notes. Anyway, moving on. So no, I'm not scared of the government. I think my government, the government of the United States, will again be the freest government in the world when the swamp is drained out of Washington, which luckily is happening right now. Speaking of which, if I were a Bitcoin advocate, it would bother me that Western governments go out of their way to hide their interest in gold as a monetary asset, yet they openly embrace cryptocurrencies. No, there are good guys and bad guys. Dave Kranzler never understood that, even though I pointed out, showed him all the documents, all the GATA guys, all the documents. And that's why I love GATA, is they just can't open their mind. They think the future equals the past. And no, the future equals the future. If you can't open your mind and see that, you're going to be stuck with gold hanging out as long as the CME and the comics are open. They're going to stay at $18, and they might go to $20 on silver, and gold might go back up to the $1,500 or $1,800. Well, meanwhile, the cryptocurrencies of Bitcoin are going to 100,000 next year, 1 million in 5 years. Why would you stay? Why would you stay with gold and silver if they're not going to let it trade freely? I own silver. Absolutely. I own 1 ounce of gold. But I don't own an ounce of gold because I think we're going to go back onto a gold standard. I think those days are long gone. And I've said why 1,000 times. I'm not hiding anything, Dave. Nothing. All right. See, here's where the problem comes in. Perhaps when the BIS declares Bitcoin or Ethereum to be a Basel III Tier 1 central bank asset like gold, I'll have a change of heart. So he buys into the system. He's embracing the BIS, the Bureau of International Settlements. He's embracing the bad guys. What in the hell is he thinking? I mean, since when does a gold bug embrace the BIS? He's just stretching. Price of Bitcoin has experienced a remarkable run in the price this year. Yes, it's up 1,000%. Of course, the same could be said for Dutch tulip bulbs in the 1636 to late 1637. One of the classic people who don't understand what the Dutch tulip bulb was all about, they weren't using tulips as money. The Dutch tulip bulb thing was all about, it was the first bubble, supposedly. But it was, the tulips weren't being used as money. It wasn't a monetary situation. It was, here's how the first bubble happened. I can give you 10,000 ways that cryptocurrencies are much more useful than a tulip. So the comparison's ridiculous, but I get where he says, because that's what the gold bugs like to say. When they talk of bubbles, it's in a bubble. Like the .com bubble had nothing to do with tulips. And if you pick the right ones, you're the owner of Google and Facebook and Apple Computer when it was first starting out. Most of the traders are chasing the price higher with little or no understanding of the object they are chasing their money with. I think most of the crypto investors are not traders because they're not going to cash in their crypto for fiat money. They're smart people and they're learning as they go, as opposed to what Dave's doing here apparently, in hopes that someone at a later point in time will come along and pay a higher price for them. Even worse, these price chasers have placed undying faith in the analysis of Bitcoin coming from the same con artists who they placed religious faith in the analysis of precious metals. You're talking to me, probably talking about me and Andy Hoffman. Hey, if you belong to the Road to Ruta, I've explained why I made the shift when the cryptocurrencies were first introduced, and I thought, yeah, this makes sense. It absolutely makes sense, and it's a truth machine. And I said how I got to that point, why I got to that point, and everybody on the Road to Ruta is high-fiving and has been high-fiving for a couple years now. So Dave, yeah, it's kind of a weak argument. But hey, I'm used to it with Dave, right? All right. Also, up to this point, there's been an absence of two-way price discovery for Bitcoin. Once the CMA futures are rolled out, it will introduce, albeit in an unwelcome format, a provocative method to sell Bitcoin on margin. The use of margin is the hallmark of a fiat currency-based fractional banking system, the very nature of which Bitcoin supposedly repudiates. The Bitcoin longs will face the same unlimited supply potential of paper Bitcoin that precious metals investors have endured for decades. I would say there's potential for tomfoolery, but Bitcoiners are not futures and options traders. Bitcoiners buy and hold. HODL, H-O-D-L, hold on for dear life. I understand, Dave, that the absence of two-way price discovery, it's kind of what Jim Sinclair was arguing, that there has, for a market to really work, there has to be a way to go short and go long. No, that's the criminal markets. That's the old school. That's looking in the past. That's why silver and gold haven't gone up, is because people like Dave and Jim Sinclair embrace the futures and options trading. Bitcoin and the cryptocurrencies, we can just do without it. Who needs it? But yeah, they're going to set up all kinds of things to try to influence the price, but the majority of coiners, Bitcoiners and cryptocurrency people are not traders. There are some, obviously. Tone Vays, of all people. Tone Vays is going to love this. He's going to go to the comics and do his trading. But I think the vast majority will understand that you're better off hanging on to your crypto. Yeah, they can knock the price down 50%. Will people sell? No, we've been through it so many times. They could drop it down 90% so many times. People understand if they've come this far, if they've been in the cryptos for a couple of years, they've been through some hellacious falls and hellacious jumps. And that's to shake the nerves. If you've gone through one, you can go through 100. And it seems like 100 already. They've declared Bitcoin dead over 1,000 times now, I believe. But no, it's not going anywhere. Cryptocurrencies are not going anywhere. All right, to sum it up, make no mistake, I'm not trying to derail anyone's interest in Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies. I'll be the first to admit that it's likely the price will go a lot higher from here. But if the issues I raise here are indeed legitimate, which they are not, how do you know when it will be the right time to sell? There isn't a right time to sell. The entire system is going over to cryptocurrencies. There's the right time to trade it for a different crypto, but why would you sell just to hang on to fiat money? Unback fiat money in a system that's crumbling and dying, just like Dave and all the gold bugs admit. You don't. That is to say, while the parabolic rise in Bitcoin has been largely continuous, any number of events could occur that would force the price rediscovery to be a step function. It's all wine and roses on the way up, but at what price will there be a bid for you to relieve yourself of your position? That's what he doesn't get. Money is the thing that's dying. The cryptos are the things that are going to take its place. Great example, Mike Mukula. Mukula, the guy who invested in 1977, he went into a garage in Silicon Valley and saw these two kids working on something that he thought would change the world. He invested $80,000 and bought 1/3 of this company. $80,000 in 1977, bought 1/3 of the company. In 1980, that company went public, and the company went public at $100 million. So his investment of $80,000, a third of that is $333 million. And $1 million was a lot of money back in 1980. Was it overvalued? Well, should he have sold it when it doubled, when it went to $160,000, or when it tripled or quadrupled, or should he have sold it when it was worth $33 million in 1980? Today, that company is worth $900 billion. It's Apple Computer. He bought 1/3 of Apple Computer in 1977, and if he had just wrote it the whole way, he'd have $300 billion. Was it, how does this happen? Was it a bubble that was going on, or was it a revolutionary change in the way humanity conducts itself? The introduction of the personal computer was probably one of the biggest things in human history, and I'd say blockchain is just as big, if not absolutely bigger. So no, I am not going to sell my cryptos to cash out. I'm not going anywhere. I'm in it for the long haul. And everybody who's been in it for the long haul with me on the road to Ruta has done extremely well and will continue to do extremely well. And yes, it's going to be volatile. It's going to be crazy. 2018, all these new companies are coming out with products. Very excited about that. And everybody who's joined the road to Ruta gets one free PPT token, a populist token, and that's going to be a monster company. And I send it to your front door, so you don't have to know what a computer is. I will send you a paper wallet loaded with one populist token by joining the road to Ruta. That promotion is going to go away soon because their populist tokens are now at like $11 and climbing. But that's the idea. Populist will come out with a product in early 2018 that'll blow away the banks, blow away an invoice factoring. And I'm really excited about that one, along with 10 others that I've analyzed on the road to Ruta. And those who have followed deserve these gains, absolutely. And those who sell off, that's fine. You can go sell off and spend your money and spend your huge crypto winnings on things that you want to enjoy. Go for it. I'm not selling. Hello. We're still in the very, very early days of the world waking up to this new form of money that doesn't need central bankers. Imagine that. You don't need you don't need permission from a government. You don't need permission from a central banker. You don't need permission from anybody but all the users in the system, because they're the ones who approve transactions. Anyway, so that's my long take on what Dave Kranzler has to say. Again, I'm sure he'll come out with a rebuttal, just like many other the crypto haters. But we move on. And don't forget to go to Jim Sinclair's site and check out the discussion we have about Bitcoin with some of the biggest gold bugs in the world. And they're great guys and very upstanding citizens. And Dave cracked me up. This Dave, he's a prepper, and I was like on my way to being a prepper if gold and silver were the only choices. But there's another choice now, and it's going to be amazing to see the crypto economy develop into the mainstream, so that right now it's like less than 1% of 1% own any cryptocurrencies. By next year, it'll be 1%, 2%, 3%, and then 5%, and then it's over, and then everybody will be dealing in cryptos. It'll be a great world. This is Bix Weir. I will talk to you guys later.